me to order. I don't see any public participation besides Cheyenne. Lily, are you able to take notes
I
again?
am. Yep, I'm ready.
So we just need to approve the notes from November. Motion to approve.
So moved.
All right, Lily,
Yes.
Christina,
Yes.
Tiana.
Yes.
All right, notes approved. So next item is 2024 school waste initiatives. So Tiana and I met with the Woodville principal, and we are a go there for composting and food rescue starting in January. So very exciting. I also spoke to Tim O'Brien today and was just catching him up on what we're going to do at Woodville. He's going to work on procuring the compost barrels, and I think we just need to decide when we want to start, so that we can make sure Black Earth is all ready, and everything's set up with them. So I think we had talked about either January 20, so we wanted to start on Monday 22nd or 29th.
Yeah, I
So-
think 22nd generally would be better for me because the week of the 29th I might be doing a work trip at some point, but it hasn't been tied down yet, so I won't know probably at least until the first week of January what the timing is on that second week, on the 29th week.
Okay.
But if we're ready for the week of the 22nd.
Yeah, I think the only thing is if we get a fridge and we need to order that cooler for food rescue.
Are you guys doing food rescue at the same time as the composting?
Yeah.
Okay, that's recommended. That's why I asked. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have it set up same as we do with all the bins in the middle of the cafeteria, same as the other schools. So we were gonna order that same rolling cooler that we have at Dover, using ESC funds, and then, I mean, we still have to pay for the fridge. Trying to get that as cheap as possible used.
Those are hard. The taller ones are harder to find.
Do we necessarily need a tall one?
That size school, I would recommend it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do-
because if not, if
Or-
you end up like, for example, at Greenwood, we get so much food in general that, you know, if we didn't have that size, that, I mean, they have a full-size fridge to begin with, and they actually do fill it up within like 2.5 or 3 days.
Yeah.
I don't know what the collection rate is at Woodville, but it's good to kind of have that if we're going to spend that money instead of just using a little one that it's just very restricted for that size school.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like Dover doesn't really have a lot of food rescue, and they're the same size kind of.
Yeah, it's odd, I know.
So I'm just curious. I just want to make sure that we're not buying too big a thing if they're not going to have a lot, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, it is. It's a gamble. That's the thing, you don't know until, I mean, one way to circumvent that is if you do an like a week audit, you know, where you just pick up a random date, not on a day of a pizza day, and see how much you get. And then that would be a way to get determined. But then you have to do, like I said, two to 3 days to kind of really get a good idea, because one day may not, it doesn't tell the whole story, as you know.
Yeah.
The only thing too, when you guys met with him, did they identify, or he's going to get back to you guys about where they're going to put it?
They're going to put it in the same place in the corner on the stage.
Right.
Where it was before.
Before the pandemic, when we rolled it at Woodville, they had a decent amount in terms of food.
Okay.
It was pretty much almost the same amount as Greenwood, not, you know, yeah, this was also even with the paid, not the free lunch, you know, program that we have right now. So this is pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
The amount's around the same almost.
Okay.
Cheyenne, do you know the exact like size of the fridge? Like, is it a full size fridge? It's not the mini fridge.
It's the one in between, yeah, it's,
Isn't it like the one at Dover? Don't they have like a,
yeah, it's exactly the same size as Dover. It's around 4.5, 4.6 cubic,
Okay,
you know,
that's what
feet
I was-
square. So it's like it's really a smack in between. They call them like a large mini fridge or
Okay,
a small fridge. Just
Okay.
semantics, but it stands up to around maybe 4 feet high.
okay,
Instead of right now, the standard one, it's around 33 inches high. So this one stands definitely around 10 inches more. Plus you also get more freezer space as well versus the mini fridge. You get that like that little 5-inch pocket only. And so
Mhm.
this one you really get like a full, you know, probably like a full 8-inch around there of,
Okay.
of length.
Okay, perfect. Just so I know what to look for, keep my eyes out.
Yeah, and especially just recommended just from a food cost safety standpoint, because we need, if you're going to use the big cooler, then we'll definitely need more ice sheets on that, so we do need the space for the ice sheets.
Yeah,
do
I
we have
posted
extra stuff?
an in search of on the Buy Nothing group today. And I've been like looking on Marketplace occasionally, but anyone else do also please keep your eyes peeled if you see one. Or I looked on Craigslist and didn't see anything useful.
Yeah, those are hard to come by. I got lucky with that lady with the Dover, like literally last minute too.
Do we have like a budget for that or at least a ballpark for what we're looking to spend?
I
The
mean,
cheapest I found online is what I sent you guys. I think it was like $150, right, for the one that I sent you.
that was for the rolling cooler.
No, there was a link for the fridge as well.
Oh, there was, okay.
Yeah.
Right, and that was also only the fridge was like 150 or 160 online right now, which is actually pretty good.
I was thinking that, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to not get something new if we can find something used, but
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering, instead of buying that rolling cooler, if we should just get the fridge new and then find a cooler. I mean, we have an extra cooler, don't we? That's at,
We have one of the cooler, that little cooler cart, yeah. We have one of that purple one.
yeah,
Like I said, it's sitting in Galvin right now. When we were gonna roll it at Galvin's, that's why I transferred it there. Hopefully it's still there. Things get moved around
I don't know,
and things mysteriously disappear.
right? Um, so yeah, I mean, I'd rather not spend like $300 because we don't have a huge amount of budget left for the rest of the fiscal year.
Tiana, somebody responded in the Buy Nothing group. Did you see that?
yeah, I saw that and I looked for that item and I
Yeah.
didn't see it, so I imagine it has already
It must have
gone.
been gone. Okay. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
too bad.
I tried looking at that group. I couldn't find it, but
Yeah, I don't know that group either.
I have a question about your rollout date. Is that what they're suggesting as kind of the later in the January? Is that what okay. When we
Yeah,
rolled it
just
out in
so we
years
have,
past, it was,
No, I was just gonna say, just so we have like a little time after, we come back after the new year to kind of make sure we have all the equipment and materials and signage and that we're, have a little bit of buffer.
yeah. Yeah, it's up to everyone, Like I said, it's just, I was gonna say, years past, we rolled out right after the kids got back. Like we rolled it out right that January, that first week of school.
Yeah.
But doesn't sound like it's happening.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily needs to be right after when they come back. Cause I mean, at this point, we don't have much time for the holiday and get our stuff together. Yeah, because we still need to find the equipment basically, so we don't have much time.
and get Black Earth set up to go to that school and Tim get the barrels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Another suggestion do you think we should ask the PTO if they want to pay for the cooler cart like they did at Greenwood?
Could do that. Yeah.
Yes. Who has the contact there?
I bet I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Look, good idea, Cheyenne. I will
Is
Send
it
them the-
Laura doing that? Laura Woodard? Or she's at Walton? I'm confusing. Is she at Walton or
I
is she at Woodville?
I don't know, but I paid my dues to the Woodville PTO, so I am quite confident. I get their newsletter every week, so I will find them and I will ask them for sponsorship of our cooler card.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I'll send them the video of how Great Walton and Greenwood are doing. See what they can do. It's a great idea.
Cool. Yeah, and Tim also said he was gonna talk to the janitor, to make sure he's all squared away for composting. And I don't think it shouldn't be a problem, because Tim said that the janitor has been out for like 6 months, so
Mm.
he thinks that he should be raring to help out now that he's back. I don't know. But he did also say that in their contract, there is like a stipulation, like, and anything that comes up kind of type of thing that like leaves it open-ended for stuff like this. So they can't say that it's not in their contract because it's kind of, that point is open-ended for things that come up. So hoping that goes smoothly.
Right. And then the other thing is they had asked us to do a little assembly. I know we had Black Earth come and do an assembly for compost at the, was that at Walton or Greenwood?
Greenwood.
At Greenwood. But it had seemed, at least at that point, like Black Earth wanted to do, sort of one a year, that they weren't going to come parade through all of our schools. So I am happy to be a spokesperson and do a couple little minutes of assembly to explain composting and food rescue. We'll make it fun.
Yeah, I think we should show that video that Black Earth has for kids.
Yeah, so when we rolled it out at Woodville, we did do the same thing, by the way, when we did it that first year with them. We had a slide deck, and Mr. Carter just kind of showed the slide deck, and we have a few minutes just to present, and then again, the audience is the kids, not the adult, and then we had a Q&A at the end.
Yep.
Do you have that slide deck?
Yeah.
Oh, if you would send that to me, that'd be great. I might, make it my own, but happy to.
Yeah, I was just probably just, yeah, I'll send you this reference, but I think we should just do our own, because at the time it was very new. So the knowledge base and everything was very new at the time too. So
great.
Now that we have some experience, and they should as well, it'd be easier.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yes, and Orion has already told me that he will teach his class and that I only need to teach all of the other classes, but he will teach his class. So
you should just give the presentation.
I might bring him up on stage to be my sidekick. He's very enthusiastic about food rescue.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna contact Black Earth to get that set up with January 22nd week start. So they would pick up on the 25th, that Thursday.
Are you getting 2 barrels or 1?
2. Yeah, I think that's it for Woodville. And then I don't know, have we circled back on Dilbear Food Rescue? That's going better or not?
We've been picking up. It's like I said, they have very little stuff, but they are doing it.
Okay. They just do a good job eating, I guess.
Yeah, I think all the kids eat everything.
Good. So yeah, as far as composting there, we still need to kind of push a little bit. I don't know, Christina, if you have any sway there.
I will try. Is it principal? that would be.
Yeah.
thank you for that. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I ran into him, I think, a few weeks ago and kind of just casually asked him, and he said that it's just, I mean, he is interested. I think it's just a matter of him getting around to it. I did talk to the janitor, and the janitor says he's just waiting for the go-ahead.
Oh, that's
All
good.
right.
Yeah, I talked to the janitor as well when I was in there, just to kind of feel it out, and he seemed like he was on board.
Cool.
Well, that's great. That's
Yeah.
better read than I gotten the last time I was in there.
Yeah, he seemed okay.
Good. Great.
So I will,
Depends on who you talk to and what day it is.
I'm
yeah.
sure.
So I think like once we get Woodville up and running and we tell the principal Dover, hey, you're the last one, like get on board. Maybe that'll help push him forward.
Oh, Melissa, I have a side question about composting. At Greenwood, do you know if they're supposed to put the lid back on when they're done? Because every time I go do food pickup, the
I
lid's
know.
always open, and I'm just
Yes.
wondering, does that?
No,
That's
it's
in
not. It's a thing there that I don't know why he doesn't close it. I've closed it several times as I've like driven past there, and I don't know why he can't close it.
Yeah, it's just a haven for raccoons to get in there.
I know. So I don't know.
I found one in my recycling bin, so they can get in there.
I don't know if you want to talk to Larry and just be like, hey, can we close that? I don't know. Nobody told him to close it, so he doesn't close it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that too. Although, like I said, it's not our first year we've done it, so I don't understand why it's always open. It
Yeah.
should be closed.
Yeah.
I mean, if I see him, I'll definitely see it, but I also feel like from a jurisdiction standpoint, I like to be respectful of management. And so I feel like this, the message should come from Tim in terms of the guidance to all the schools, not just him, so that we're not singling him out.
Yeah. I can bring that up with Tim. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I can try to.
Maybe more of a blanket statement in general, as in like, you know, the process and procedure from that angle.
Yeah. Okay. I do know that Tim ordered like a whole pallet of liners, so we shouldn't have any shortage of those going forward.
Oh, and of course, if they're out, to reach out to them.
To Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Thanks.
As far as food rescue volunteers, I think Cheyenne, you mentioned that process may be changing, and I don't know if you want to.
Yeah. So basically, just so everyone knows, the food drive in Melrose is changing their processes. So they're getting rid of their porch porch service, if we want to call it that way. And that, of course, will be effective after the new year. So we won't have that kind of option to drop off food for them anymore. So I think the other ways with Tiana and you guys have been doing is dropping off the Boys and Girls Club. But as you know, they can't accept that whole volume, even if you split up, between Stoneham and Wakefield, they can't accept it all. They won't go through it all anyway. So we have to find another avenue. I'm kind of back on square one. I've been calling around a little bit, few places.
Hold on, sorry. Does Melrose just, they don't want it at all, or just that we can't drop it off on a porch? Is there somewhere else we can bring it in Melrose?
Well, that's kind of what I'm making my phone calls. But the
Okay.
food drive, it's not what they've been doing. The way they're doing is kind of like intermediary. Like they've been doing kind of like if there was a A to we'll call it ABC, the C, A to C. They've been kind of the B kind of conduit. But they're basically getting rid of it. In the past, they would have volunteers come pick it up from that cooler or from their fridge once they transfer the fridge, and then take it to the center, the donation center or the pantries. But now they're saying that whoever's donating it, which is A, should ship it to C. So skip the B. In terms of, and so I asked a few community members here in terms of, well, are they aware of any locations that would accept the food? So right now, what I have going on is that all the centers are located in Everett or Malden. So we have Malden, the Bread of Life, location here, which is 5-6 miles. And then the other place is the Grace in Everett, Grace Pantry. So they have a really big distribution center. So for example, next week, actually not next week, sorry, I apologize. It's actually this week with school closing on Friday. My husband and I are actually going to make a mad rush to pick up all the schools, you know, when they text us to do the pickup. We will have to consolidate everything to like one or two cars, and then drive all the way to Everett to drop it off at the Grace Chapel. So that's kind of what we'll do for the big drop off. For the day-to-day, I'm still figuring it out. I don't know of any local places that's in Wakefield, nor in Melrose. If you guys know of anything, please let me know. But I am in touch with Pina, who is the community dinner coordinator. So as you know, Lillian, I keep kicking you off every time you volunteer. But it's basically the second Wednesday of the month. We take the food and then give it, and so it goes to them on the second, but that's only once a month, you know, so that's not enough, unless we reach out to other community dinners, you know, coordinators to see, but that's a lot of coordination in terms of just once a week that they're accepting it. You know, so we need kind of like a stable location beside the Boys and Girls Club on the weekly basis.
Is there anything in like Reddings, like Linfield, anything on the other side?
Not that I know of. There are some senior centers, but when I reached out to them years ago, again, this was years ago, you know, it was they needed a certain volume, and we can't guarantee the volume.
About Saugus.
Yeah, so those are where some of the pantries would be, you know, would be
Yeah.
in Saugus, and that's, you know, still a drive if you have to go cut all the way across the, you know, the highway or Route 1
Yeah.
to kind of get there. Like I said, the Grace Everett Church is around the Saugus Everett line, so it's around that area.
I just looked it up just by chance. I work in Everett at a school 3 times a week, actually. And it's on Church Street, the school I work at.
Oh,
Which
is that the same, is that the Grace, but it's good, that's where the food going this Friday, it's on Church Street, 50 Church Street?
yeah, so I'm at 33 Church Street.
Yep, so it's going this Friday.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's helpful at all, but I am driving from Wakefield to Church Street 3 times a week.
So perhaps
would be
if like,
amazing.
if we could consolidate it to you,
If we could figure that out and put it to me, I am happy to do it, and I can do it during the days that I'm there. I could have my students help too, so.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
If we can do that. I mean, we can take this offline. in
Yeah,
terms of how
that's
to
fine.
make
Just
it work.
email me or we can chat, but happy to help.
Thank you. That's definitely a good avenue. And I haven't checked with the Boys and Girls Club. I've been trying to kind of get them to pick up food once a week. I've actually been in contact with Sammy in Stoneham. I've texted Joe again in Wakefield. And I hate to say this live on a recorded line, but they're horrible at returning emails and phone calls. I've actually I'll talk to, you know, the community coordinator at the Boys and Girls Club, and I've sent him numerous emails, and he has not responded to me at all. So, I mean, all I'm asking is for them to pick up once a week. And I've actually even talked to the bus driver when he was at Greenwood to say, hey, would you mind if we, you know, pick up, you know, can you guys pick up the food once a week? And for him, the thing is that I think from his jurisdiction, just so you guys are aware, is that they can't leave the bus. So once they get there, they have to kind of stay there. So I talked to Miss Paiva and I said, hey, Miss Paiva, if the food's ready in a bag, a plastic bag, can someone just kind of like take it from the fridge and give it to the bus driver, you know? And so she said she's willing to do that. So then I texted Joe and I said, hey, you know, we're talking about this process. What do you think? No answer. So, so that's kind of the latest update. I just want to. It's like I'm trying to make all this headway, but there's no response on the other end.
What about the after school program that like the kids just stay at the school?
Yeah. So the Wakefield Academy, that's what you're referring to. They actually got rid of their SNAP program years ago. So they no longer the kids have to bring their own snack. Occasionally they'll kind of do like the goldfish here and there, but they don't want to offer it because then it becomes a norm.
So we can't, like, they can't take what we have for food rescue as snacks.
I actually asked them to do a test pilot and nothing happened.
Feel like that-
However,
yeah, it's
there is
always
a new
little-
one that I'm actually going to tell you, which is going to be a test as well, and that's at Galvin.
Oh,
So Galvin is they've always had kind of like a mini pantry as like a middle school pantry. It was started kind of just by the passion of two teachers who volunteered their own personal space to kind of start this program. But now they're expanding it, so they're going to get a fridge. And then so some of the food that we collect, but it could be coming from the Galvin kitchen even, you know, that they're going to be able to put their food in there so that the kids after school, because in middle schoolers, they stay there after school. Some of them have programs for enrichment programs. And the input I got was that, not the input, the information is that the kids are hungry going there. So they know these two teachers are, you know, have a pantry. So they're going to these two teachers and say, hey, you know, what can we eat besides dry cereal, right? You know, or dry pasta. And so by having a fridge, they'll be able to have access to, you know, yogurt and milk and the stuff that we collected.
that's great.
Yeah, but that won't be until they get the fridge in there and, you know, the plug and everything. And I also have to go in there and make sure that all the compliance measures are there. And then also work with the Board of Health and make sure that it's signed off.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's one avenue, but again, we won't know it until it's until it's implemented and to know how fast the supply gets used up.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we should, I don't know, try to do that at every school. These after school programs
We should, I agree.
make things so much easier.
Yeah, that was the intention, was to kind of get the academy to use it, but there's you know, they're just not doing it.
And that's a decision that was centralized across all of the Wakefield Academy locations?
Yeah, so you reach out to Estelle, who's in charge of the academy.
Okay.
And I actually even talked to the personnel at at each of the schools too.
Mm-hmm. And they all said, no, not interested in snacks.
Well, they gave me the same answer in terms of, yeah, that they don't have a snack program anymore.
Got it.
A lot of talking. I'm getting tired, just like even going to these schools now.
Well, I think that's great about Galvin doing the food rescue. Wasn't aware of that, so that's awesome. And the youth council member who's on our ESC has started a green team at Galvin, so he is trying to push for you know, recycling and composting there. So rather it come from us, I gave him a nudge to do it from within, and he's all raring to go, trying to get people to join his green team. So it's been great effort by him, and so, you know, I'm hoping he can push for recycling composting to start there at some point soon, maybe for the second half of the year. We'll see.
Yeah, and I wouldn't think we'd get a whole lot of food rescue from the kids at the Galvin. At least the lunch I went to, like they take what they're going to eat and they eat it and then maybe even go back for seconds. So like I suspect, unlike in the elementaries where they take some food that they then decide they're not going to open, it doesn't seem like there's a lot not getting opened in the middle school.
Yeah, I don't think they have the same like requirements. Like they have to take a milk, they have to take blah blah blah.
Correct.
Right.
Right. Yeah, they get to choose at the high school and the middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think compost would be very valuable because there's certainly plenty of like, yeah, scraps and peels and things.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I don't know, Cheyenne, if you tried anything for the high school for food rescue composting recently.
No, so we Not recently. Before the pandemic, we did have some of the ESC, students part of that, and they had wanted to roll it out. I forgot what was the pushback for, because there was definitely a recycling person. I have her name on my email in terms of
Yeah, there's a recycling club there.
yeah.
And I've heard, kind of mixed results for recycling there. But as far as composting goes, I don't know if that's been looked into recently.
Yeah, no, I have not approached that, but I think once we're good with the elementary schools
Yeah,
and Galvin, that's my next thing. I didn't want to kind of spread us too thin,
right.
but we should definitely approach that once the elementaries are set up.
So we have some new student liaisons joining ESC in January for the second half of the year. So could definitely talk to them about these initiatives.
Yeah, bring them on. And I think they would be happy to take on, as a project. I think it's a sense of also accomplishments if they can actually roll it out now that, it's post-pandemic already.
Yeah.
And I'm here to provide guidance if they need anything from that kind of compliance standpoint.
Yeah, I guess as far as food rescue goes, I don't want to like stretch you too thin, like adding all these schools and have a place to put the food and enough people to move the food. I just want to make sure be cognizant of that piece.
Yeah, I appreciate. No, I think by the time January comes around, my schedule should be good after January. So I think from a timing standpoint, again, with the orientation of the new student council and us kind of sharing information, they'll have some work behind the scene that they can do before they even have to involve me too much at that level. But implementation, they can run off with it once I give them the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, no, I mean, the implementation piece is pretty straightforward. It's the making sure we have enough volunteers and places to send the food is, I think, the more of a concern at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I love to kind of, like I said, I mentioned to you guys before, I love to kind of engage the community members to, get the food from point A to point C. And that's something I'm still noodling on just because it's a school environment. So there's a lot of restrictions with that from a safety standpoint. So
yeah,
maybe
Right, I would think maybe once we figure out better what point C is, where all the food needs to wind up, since we're sort of reassessing those options,
yes.
then maybe we put out some additional calls for volunteers, knowing that like they have to be quarried and all of that. But I think at least a lot of parents in the schools are, because they come in to volunteer for other different things. So I think we may be able to find some more folks so that it's not as much of a burden on you. And now that with 4 elementary schools, being able to spread it around more among volunteers so that it's not, go to 4 schools and then drop it off in a couple locations.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that's why you'll see that I haven't started the January, at least 2024 signups genius yet for that reason, because we're trying to figure out all that stuff behind the scene. So I think once we stabilize with that, to your point, it'll be a lot better.
all right. Anything else with schools we want to discuss?
Just putting a note out there. Lily and I discussed this at the community education meeting the other day, but we'll be participating in the STEAM night for K through 4 kids in March. If there's any waste reduction related hands-on activities that anyone can think of, we're just looking for something fun to do at the table. We're noodling on some options, but just wanted to toss it out there. If you have great ideas, share them with me and Lily, please.
That's awesome. Will do.
All right. Next item is a green business program. Did we get any more people?
No, we have had 5 responses. But we did raise a little bit of awareness. One response, Rada Boutique bemoaned not having anywhere to bring her cardboard for recycling. And I said, great news. Let me tell you where you can bring your cardboard for recycling. So now she knows.
Did she fill out the survey?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have five businesses that have responded to the survey. I have utterly failed, though. I was supposed to reach out to the first couple of them and like ask for some deeper opinions about like the point system. And I have completely failed to do that. It is still on my list.
No problem.
So, but actually, could you forward me the page, wherever the page is that has the points? Could someone like resend that to me so that I have the latest copy of that?
Draft proposal. Yeah.
But generally, they are 100% of the 5 businesses would be interested in participating in some sort of green program. However, only 4 of them feel like recognition as a green business would be important, like with a window decal or publicized list or something like that. Not sure what the other one would want. But,
So I guess what do we want to do next?
I mean, we can just roll it out and start, collecting entries and points and tallying it up and see if anyone qualifies.
How would we roll it out? Like I feel like we've tried to get that help from the chamber and others, and just with the survey. So rolling it out with them, I don't know. We'd have to make a bigger.
Sure, yeah, we'd certainly need to make a bigger stink about it because, like, I think fill out this survey is only useful to us, right? Like that is them doing us a favor. Do this thing to get points and be, celebrated as a green business is of value to them, at least in theory, according to the survey results. So hopefully they'd have more interest in doing that than in just providing some input. But I mean, I think we could put it on a web, like make a separate page on our web presence, share it a bunch on social, and like make some, I don't know, either like a quickie little brochure or just put the URL on a QR code on business cards like we've done for other things and like truly go around town. Like we could just make a list of the businesses and target them, dropping things off and
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a ground game.
yeah.
And I saw that the chamber offers a bunch of online courses to businesses, and I was thinking, I didn't see anything off the bat related to sustainability, but I was thinking like we could, I don't know, find something that we could throw up there in their catalog related to this.
Like an existing training that someone else has already put together.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can find one, I'm sure that would be helpful. In the question in the survey about what resources would help you, webinars or trainings was among the top rated. That and supplies or shared purchasing. 3 of the businesses each liked those support things more so than, for instance, peer support or coaching from us. Small numbers, but I would imagine that some of that trainings may be different depending on the type of business. And what it takes for a food service establishment to be sustainable is going to be different than what it takes a law firm. And I would imagine that even just our list of here are a bunch of things you can get points for gets you part of the way. Oh, haven't thought of making sure our cleaning supplies are green.
Mhm.
I like the idea of like a brochure or fact sheet of some sort. Like if we go over to Lakeside Office Plaza or something where there's like tons of businesses over there and like just start there of just going door to door, or sliding it under the doors or whatever. Because there's so many different kinds of businesses in a place like that. You could just hit a lot of them up.
Yeah, that's
Just-
true.
Just to start some, it's not like we're walking down Main Street, but like there are like 50 businesses in on one
Yep.
section of those. Something like that.
Yep.
And I'm happy to work on that if that's something we decide to do. I could design it, I could put it together.
Great. I mean, it would basically be like what we already put together for the proposal, but maybe some more explanation of like how it would work.
Do we want, I mean, so we, for collecting the points, we were going to just do that as a Google form. I think we had decided just to keep it simple. Do we want to give folks a way to get in touch with us if they have questions? Is that just email the ESC at email address?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you can triage if it's stuff for this. Can help. I don't know how much email volume the ESC list gets.
Okay.
Okay.
Most of
Alright.
it's from the chamber.
So I can make a Google form of like the points list and share it out to you guys for feedback. I mean, I imagine it would just be for each of those items, do you do this? With a yes, no, right? And then
Yeah.
maybe like a comment box. Do we want comments on each thing? Do we want comments just overall?
So I'm just thinking about the comment that you made at the ESC meeting about this maybe not living in the waste reduction subcommittee.
Sure.
So I'm wondering if, when we have our retreat, this is like going to be moved to a separate subcommittee. We let that subcommittee kind of flesh the details out. I don't know, just throwing that out there.
Yeah, we can hold it till we have that and reconfigure where things live and decide who's driving stuff forward.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with it still living in this subcommittee if another one doesn't pop up, but I just want to make sure that that decision is like solidified.
Mhm. Right, it would be good for whoever's going to own it to feel like they own it and are making the implementation choices.
Yeah. But I think, we seem to have just decided we're gonna move forward. So
I mean, I think at this point, like we tried to get some feedback and
right.
didn't get a whole lot of it, and we can continue to seek feedback, or we can just go ahead and start it and consider it a pilot year or a pilot 6 months and learn from it. And if we need to tweak the point system or we need to add a few additional point options or something because we get feedback from folks that say, why I didn't get points for this other good thing I do, like,
Yeah.
we're not going to lock it into stone.
Mhm. Okay, so let's kind of table the flushing of details and just feel good about moving forward with it, but flush out the details, and maybe there's a new subcommittee, maybe there isn't. We'll figure that out. And then move forward.
Okay, so I will not reach out to Velvet Green for more feedback about the point system. Like, we're just gonna leave it as it is.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Every once in a while when you procrastinate something.
Um, anything else with the green business that we need to discuss now? I know that the chamber still has that survey link at the bottom of their newsletter, but so it may get some trickling in, but
If
I
I
think
see you, I'll
Yeah,
glance at it
I think
tomorrow.
we've given enough time that it is what it is.
Yep.
All right. Any other matters unanticipated? If you haven't filled out the retreat doodle, please do so. It looks like most people are up for January 6th. And Christina, I saw that you couldn't do that, but you're the only one who can't at this point.
Yeah, I work on Saturdays, 8 to 12. So yeah, so can't miss that, but it's totally fine.
Okay, well, we'll see once we get a few more responses where we end up. But
Well, and we can certainly like share ahead of time some of the like ideas, or if you have things that you want shared, certainly you can like we can have the like, here's the voice of Christina puppet.
That sounds lovely. Thank you.
or we could just do it on a Sunday, see where we end up.
Right.
All right. Anything else we need to talk about?
I have something not waste related. Is that okay?
Sure.
It's a little out of order. Lily and I were talking in community education about of the next events that we want to do, that we still haven't done much around the GHG inventory and that whole thing that y'all did, and that might be a good one for winter time, like an indoors in the library, like mini presentation, discussion, roundtable type of education session. So I want to check with you on if that was something of interest to you and to whoever else was involved in the GHG stuff, and could we like try to spin that up as a engagement opportunity with the community?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I was emailing with Chris Lewis, who worked on it with me, and seeing if he was coming back to the ESC.
Yeah.
And he said he is. So
okay.
Maybe that's something we could talk about at the retreat.
Great. Yep. Cool. Sounds good. That's
right. Our next meeting is January 17th. Does that work? All right.
So.
Motion to adjourn. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right, let's adjourn.
Thank you.